What's up, guys? It's Undead Gamer here, and thought I would do a little bit of I guess you could call it comments, thoughts on E3, just, my personal opinion on just a couple of the things that have been going on at E3, because I think that it's been a fairly decent E3 this year, um, because we've had some pretty crappy ones in the past, and so it's kind of nice to see a good one now. I wasn't a super big fan of last year's E3 with a couple things, but this one so far seems to be pretty decent. So I'm gonna go and talk mainly about Sony and Microsoft. I'm not gonna talk about the Wii U or a lot of PC related items just because I don't really, um, I don't have a Wii U. I don't play PC games. Not that I don't like them, it's just that it's not something that I want to focus on in this. So, first off, I think I'm just gonna, talk about like Sony and, Sony's press conference kind of disappointed me in a couple aspects. I mean, like, I guess I should talk about Microsoft first to really kind of bring home what I'm trying to say. But so Microsoft slam dunk with their press conference. I mean, you know, I was not expecting that. I mean, Sony's this is not a 1-2 punch to Sony. This is a KO. This is an uppercut on the floor. Your 10 seconds are up. You're out of here. I mean, I so the big news is that the Xbox One is going to be getting backwards compatibility, and that is crazy. All right. I mean, I didn't think that backwards compatibility, I didn't think that companies understood what that meant. I thought they were just, because, I mean, from a business standpoint, it does kind of make sense that, oh, backwards compatibility, blah, 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 we don't need it. Oh, we could put it in, but it would raise the price $100 of the system and all this other crap. And I'm still not sure on the specifics of it, but having backwards compatibility with 360 at all is a good thing. And I'm kind of annoyed that Sony is not really doing anything with it because they were asked about that and they were like, "No, no, we're not going to do it." And time will tell with this. I'm predicting a huge spike in Xbox sales given the fact that it's finally backwards compatible. And if it starts outselling the PS4 consistently, then I'm pretty sure that the PS4 will get something along those lines. My only worry is that Sony will introduce a new model, like a new version of the PS4 that's backwards compatible. It's only this version. You got to get this version so that your version that you already got, you're just out of luck. And I hope they don't do something like that because that's really not fair to people who have bought the, day one or within the first, several months like I did. To be honest, I mean, I don't really need backwards compatibility that much. I mean, I got a PS3 right there, so I don't need. If it was backwards compatible with the PS2 and the PlayStation 1, that would be cool. Uh, because it's a real pain hooking up my PS2 and making sure the games are working, that they're not scratched. And my PS2 is really finicky. It only works when it decides it wants to. But I guess with a console that's, starting to age, you kind of got to expect that. But that's beside the point. Um, so, like I said, time will tell what Sony will do with this backwards compatibility. I really do hope that they go for it. I mean, even if it is just PS3 backwards compatibility, that's still a step in the right direction. I do have to commend Microsoft because that's good for the for the console market in general, showing that that is not a dead practice. So, kudos to Microsoft. You guys did really good. And if that's not good enough, they also really hit it out of the park with games like Fallout 4 and what was the other one? Rainbow Six. If you get Fallout 4 on the Xbox One, you're going to get Fallout 3 also, and that is really cool. And if I remember correctly, with was Rainbow Six Siege, if you get that, you'll get Rainbow Six Vegas 1 and 2, and those are both decent length games, so that's cool. This is something that went on a little bit in the past. I can't remember, I think it was Fear 3 that if you like pre-ordered that or something, you got like a download code for Fear 2 or Fear 1 or something like that. Um, but this really doesn't happen a lot anymore, and it's really cool to see that once again Microsoft showing that these kinds of practices are not dead, which I'm really happy for. A lot of people will say that I'm a PlayStation fanboy because I don't own an Xbox. I have a PS2, a PS3, and a PS4. You know, and so people will say that I'm a Sony fanboy and stuff, and that's not really true. I do respect Microsoft like this. With these practices, it's very actually very nice to see them such a 180 from where they were when they first unveiled the Xbox One. From then until now, they've changed so much, and really for the most part, it's all been for the better. So I'm really liking that. And they also showed off some new games. I mean, their Gears of War Ultimate Edition is coming out. I think they showed some Gears of War 4 gameplay. You know, um, Fallout 4. That is a little too much. I think $60 is pricey for a new controller. So you're asking me to spend, almost triple that? I don't think so. I mean, that's a bit much. And the controller itself looks good. I'm not really a fan of like the D-pad. It's weird. It's like I don't know. It's like a half disco ball or something. I'm not really sure how that works. But I really don't see that many consumers willing to pay that much for a different controller. I mean, is there such an issue with the current Xbox One controller that they need this advance? It kind of reminds me of Nintendo with the Wii. Like they had the Pro controller, and then they had like the classic controller, and all these different controllers and stuff. And it's like, well, if the regular controller works fine, I'm gonna stick with the regular controller. I don't have a problem. I don't need. So moving on to Sony. Sony was all about the games as pretty much usual. That you could pay that you could put on a console for $60 and it would be worth that. You know, I remember the disaster that was Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified. That's not a console quality game. That's a complete cash in and a disgrace to gaming itself. And all of this just shovelware. It might as well be a portable Wii at this point with all the crap. It's nothing but Lego games and just crap that nobody cares about. And it's really really sad because I was hoping that the Vita would be the next PSP, but I don't know. I don't know if there's really a future for Sony in the handheld market. Nintendo is just brutal when it comes to that. They have got such a good hold on that handheld market. So I don't know. But anyway, they also showed off some more Star Wars Battlefront gameplay, which Star Wars Battlefront, man, the split screen in this game, the co-op is worrying me. It really is because it looks like it's just like this horde mode that's like a 15-minute long match, and that's not what we want when it comes to split screen or co-op. I'm really hoping that there's a co-op offline sort of, bot zone, kind of like with Killzone or like with the original Battlefront. They need that. All right, I can't stress this enough how much they need that. I doubt they're going to have it in there though, and that's disappointing. But we'll see. I mean, people argued when Battlefront was like, we're not going to have a campaign, but to be honest, the first Star Wars Battlefront didn't really have a campaign. Really, the second one didn't either. I mean, it was just multiplayer matches strung together by a very weak narrative. So, if they have that offline stuff, then I'll be happy. But chances are they're not. So I'm really worried about Battlefront at this point. But we'll wait and we'll see. It depends. Um, Also, the Uncharted demo blew my mind. Oh, as I was expecting. I mean, this is Naughty Dog we're talking about. They don't really pull their punches very hard. I just I like I'm interested because there was a part that I saw with like the driving a Jeep, and it almost looked very open worldish. I'm not sure, like not really open worldish, but it wasn't like one singular path. It looked like there were multiple paths and stuff, and that's cool. I'm interested to see if like there's going to be more than just that one segment where you're driving vehicles or doing stuff like that, because that's kind of cool, and it looked like it'd be interesting. I mean, spice up the shooting and puzzle solving gameplay. Uh, uh, Black Ops 3 DLC first on PS4. That's a win for Sony. Um, I think it's kind of stupid in general. Just release it all at the same time. Having the DLC come out a month later is not going to make me buy your system. I know it just makes you look like an asshole, basically. It's annoying, and I'm not gonna buy an Xbox because it gets Call of Duty DLC or really any DLC like a month earlier. I wouldn't expect somebody to buy a PS4 because DLC is out a month earlier on there. I think that's just kind of dumb. Let's see. They have the PlayStation View, and this is kind of interesting, where they're going to offer like or like subscriptions for individual channels, which I think is really cool, and I think that's a good idea. Because a lot of times with these cable providers, they give you a bunch of crap channels that you don't want and stuff. And so if you just wanted HBO or just wanted Cinemax or whatever channel it is you watch, you could just have it. So I think that's cool. The completely awesome Batman Arkham Knight demo. I'm so stoked for that game. I'm just please Rocksteady, please let that story be good. The story has got to be good. No, it doesn't need to be good. It needs to be excellent. This is the final Batman Arkham game, at least by Rocksteady. So we really need a good story in this game because I was personally not the biggest fan of the Arkham Knight storyline. I prefer Arkham Asylums. I know I'm in the minority there, guys, but just personal opinion there. So I'm hoping that the story is great in that. But the Nightmare mission looks really cool, reminiscent of Arkham Asylum. Those Scarecrow sections, which were phenomenal. So I can't wait for that. And Shenmue 3, which I can't say I'm very familiar with the Shenmue series. I'll have to do some research. I don't even really know that much about them. But the Kickstarter was funded in like 9 hours, and so the game's coming out. It's coming out around, I guess they said like 2017, and I heard somewhere that there were talks of like an HD collection for the first two games. So that would be cool to have like an HD collection in 2016, and then the third game in 2017. You what else was there? There was the Final Fantasy VII remake, which I'm not a Final Fantasy fan, so I don't really care about. And you guys already know my thoughts on Destiny, another expansion, because two overpriced expansions were just not enough. We got another one incoming. I looked up. I don't remember that much about it, but I remember looking up all of the stuff that it came with. This the Taken King, and it looks just as forgettable and the rest. And there was this one thing that I read, and it just made me smile because they were like, you can skip cutscenes in the new Destiny Taken King DLC, and I'm like, what cutscenes? Have you played Destiny? Like, oh man, these 5-second cutscenes. I really got to skip these. I mean, I'm beating a dead horse at this point. I've already talked about Destiny way too much. I'm sick of the game. I can't believe that people are still supporting it, but whatever. I mean, if you like the game, then you like the game, and there's nothing wrong with that. No Man's Sky is looking amazing. I can't wait to play that. The new Hitman, and of course, finally, The Last Guardian. It's nice to see that the game's not dead, but it's been in development for so long. I'm really going to kind of take this with a grain of salt, as games like Duke Nukem Forever really did show that, just because the game comes out doesn't mean it's close to what the original vision was. And with a game like this, I don't know. We'll see. But games like Bioshock Infinite, that was in development for quite a while, proves that you can have amazing games that are in development for a really, really long time. So, we'll just have to see. So I think that's going to do it. I mean, I know I didn't cover a lot. I primarily focused on just Xbox and Sony, but that's really what I wanted to cover. Because I just wanted to speak my mind on some of those things. The backwards compatibility, that's awesome. That makes me want an Xbox One. you know. So, and like I said, I hope Sony does. If Sony, if you're not going to do backwards compatibility, fine, but you need to do something on par with that. I don't really know what that could be. Whether offering more free games with PS Plus, making PS Plus free or less expensive, or I don't know. I really don't know. But I hope you guys do something to keep the competition going. So that's gonna do it for me. Thanks for watching, guys. Enjoy the rest of E3. We still got uh like one day left. So, enjoy that. Enjoy all of the new games coming out, and I will see you guys next time. Have a good one.